Hi everyone, welcome to Avalanche Storytime, presented by Bender's Bar and Grill.
This is Jim Armstrong, former sports columnist at the Denver Post. These days, I own Bender's up in Westminster in the Westminster Promenade Ice Center. If you don't think we're the preeminent hockey bar in the metro area, you haven't seen the framed Original Six jerseys above the bar. We have poutine on the menu. That must make us a hockey bar. All kinds of good stuff on the menu. Come on up to Bender's and check us out.
I'm your host, Adrian Dater, and today we're going to take a look back at some of the origins of the Avalanche Red Wing rivalry. And why do I bring it up this week? Well, because we just had a game in Detroit that everybody's talking about. Tyler Bertuzzi of the Detroit Red Wings was suspended for 2 games for punching Matt Calvert of the Avalanche while he was on the bench trying to get his stick back that was being illegally held. Bertuzzi was suspended 2 games by the NHL the other day. A lot of people were asking, Dater, were the old days that bad? Was it ever that nasty? And I'm like, yeah, a lot worse. That would not have even been a penalty, I bet, back in the old days. So what I'm going to do today is take you back to really the origins of when the nastiness between those two teams started. It led to a legendary rivalry that was the talk of the NHL for about 7 years. People forget exactly how it started, though. I'm going to focus in on one incident that happened that night, long time ago. Now, what happened was, back in 1996, in Game 3 of the 1996 Western Conference Finals, Claude Lemieux was actually penalized for punching Slava Kozlov in the back of the head. Everybody thinks that his hit on Chris Draper in Game 6 was the actual start of the real nastiness between those teams, but actually it started in Game 3 when, after a play in the corner between Slava Kozlov and Adam Foote, Kozlov turned around and smacked Adam Foote's face right into the glass, opening a big cut in his head, blood streaming everywhere. Claude Lemieux came and later punched him in the back of the head, punched Kozlov's head right into the glass, and Claude Lemieux would end up being suspended for 1 game in that series. Now, what happened after that game, though, is the focus of my story time today. So Claude Lemieux comes out of the McNichols Sports Arena that night. He is walking with his wife and infant son, whose name is Brendan, who today, by the way, is a player with the Winnipeg Jets. He's walking out of the arena. The Avalanche have lost a playoff game to cut their series lead to 2-1. Now, after a game, the saying in hockey is no beefs. After a game, there's no beefs. No matter how nasty it gets on the ice, when the game's over, there's no beefs. Meaning, players can walk past each other in the hallway, exchange pleasantries. You'd never think that sometimes, but that's hockey. That's the culture of hockey. No beefs. Save it for the ice. Well, not this night. As Lemieux was walking out of the back of McNichols Arena with his wife and son Brendan in tow, Brendan, by the way, named after former Red Wing Brendan Shanahan, little known fact, when they were teammates of the New Jersey Devils, Lemieux named his son after him. So, anyway, Brendan Shanahan's on the opposite team later on. But, coming out of the arena that night, all of a sudden Lemieux hears from the Detroit Red Wing bus, "Hey Lemieux, I hope you get your bleeping ass suspended." Turned out he would get suspended 1 game. Lemieux is like, "Excuse me, who is that?" Turned out to be Scotty Bowman, the Red Wings coach, sitting on the bus, yelling at Claude Lemieux with his wife and infant son in tow. Lemieux, shocked that somebody would breach the no beefs etiquette and say something when a game's over, said, "Excuse me?" and got on to the Red Wing bus to say, "What did you say to me, Mr. Scotty?" That the whole Red Wing team is on the bus, most of them anyway. So they told Lemieux, "Get the bleep out of here." It almost led to more fisticuffs on the bus before I think security came in, pulled people away. But Lemieux just kind of quickly got out of there as well before security had to really break him up. And it was the real start of the rivalry. That was the real start of the ugliness with those teams. It wasn't the Chris Draper hit. That sort of exploded the rivalry, but it was that punch against Slava Kozlov leading to Scotty Bowman yelling at him from the team bus, Lemieux getting on the bus, being yelled at by the Red Wings team. That's what started it all. Now, after Lemieux served his one-game suspension, he came back, helped the Avalanche to lead them to a series victory. The next day, I remember, though, I was coming into McNichols as well. And this was this was after the suspension had been levied. He wasn't going to play that night, but Claude Lemieux still came into the arena. And I was walking in with him at the time. And Scotty Bowman just happened to be standing there, as he often did. He was always hanging around somewhere in the arena, chatting. So he walked right by Bowman and he says, "Do you have anything to say to me now, Scotty?" And Scotty didn't have anything to say. When it was sort of face-to-face right there, he demurred. Cooler heads prevailed in that situation. They went on their way. As we all know, though, that rivalry got even more and more bloody, more vicious, more nasty. And we saw a return to that a little bit the other night with Tyler Bertuzzi and Matt Calvert. We'll see a game later on this year. Detroit, when they come to Pepsi Center, we'll see if some of that nastiness carries over next time. Personally, I hope it does. It's more fun, right? A little nastiness in hockey. But we'll see. It's not ever going to be the same rivalry it used to be because they're in the other conference now. They only play twice a year. But we'll see if the Avalanche rivalry with the Red Wings gets another chapter in this very long and sordid history. So until that happens, I'm Adrian Dater. This has been Avalanche Storytime. Thank you for watching.
If you're a football fan or a hockey fan, you got to check out Bender's off of Highway 36, just off of Church Ranch Boulevard. 32 beers on tap, served in chilled glasses. We're a watch site for Coloradans for Nebraska and Steeler Nation of North Denver. So if you're a Husker fan or a Steeler fan, you're a recent transplant to Denver, come on up to Bender's and check us out.